Man, so we are in week 12 of the NFL. Man, I'm kind of sad. It's already 3 months deep, man.
So it's almost over, man. It's the season goes by quick.
That's right, it's almost over. But I mean, we have week 12 coming up. Week 11 was crazy.
Hmm.
Um, MVP race is still on and popping. Um, let's go over top five.
I can kick it off, man. I'll start with my top five. I'll start with number five. I'll go with briefly. I'll touch on my five. Five. I'll go with. I like Michael Thomas at five. I think it's rare to have a receiver in the argument, but I've seen some numbers about him. Like the year that he's putting on is nothing short than
He's
amazing.
about to break records.
Yeah, I mean the guy is about to break. I think it's Marvin Harrison's record.
Hmm.
So they said he's on pace for 150 catches. I think the record's 143. So I mean, what more can you say? I mean, the guy's just blown out of control, and that's juggling two quarterbacks. You know, I mean, he didn't drop off from Breeze to Bridgewater back to Breeze. Like
Yeah.
it's just consistent. So hats off to him. He deserves to be in his top five. Number four, I would go with Dalvin Cook. That man is just I don't know, man. Like to me, he's the best running back in the league right now. Best running back in the league.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I can't say that. I can't say
I
best
was
running
about
back
to
in the
say
league.
that's a
I would
bold
I would
statement.
say number two. I would say he's the second best running back in the league. But um, Dalvin is he's coming. He's coming. You know, and this is what I always foreseen with him from his college days now to a pro. It's just good to see him healthy. You know what I mean? The past couple years or last year, he just couldn't get
Last couple.
healthy. Yeah, so um, I knew he always had it in him. It's just now to see him put it all together, put all the pieces together. He's a truly special athlete in this league, and I expect this going forward. Um, Number three, Christian McCaffrey. Um, I don't even need to say anything to be honest. I mean, the guy is the heart and
Christian
soul of
McCaffrey.
Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, running, catching, blocking, whatever you need done, the guy does it at a top level.
He just hit. He just joined the Madden '99 club.
Yeah, I think they said he was the youngest player to ever do so, something
Hmm.
like that. But dude is a freak. He's a freak, man. And I didn't think he'd be this good coming out of Stanford. I have a lot of people that would back me up
I
and
told
say
you. Told you.
that I was down on him. But I was wrong, and I admit I was wrong. But the guy's a freak. If these two other guys was in the league, he'd be clearly the MVP.
Yeah.
Um, but I think he should win one MVP before he retires because he's just that special. Um, Number two, I would have your boy, Mister
Still?
Mister Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I have him at two. I have him at two this week. I can't hurt Russ because Russ was off. You know, Russ is my number one. So Russ is my number one. Lamar's two. Lamar is having a special year as well. I mean, the guy's a human joystick. Like he's Michael Vick 2.0. You know, he has time to change my mind. He has a few big games left to where he can change my mind and be my front runner. I would like to see him. This I think they play Monday. No, Sunday night. No, Monday night.
Monday night.
Monday night against the Rams, a
Rams.
big game on the road in LA. I want to see how he steps up on the road, and then the Niner game coming up soon. So I'm interested to see how he performs in those games, and if he performs better in that Niner game than Russ did against the Niners, I may tip the cap. But Russ is ultimately my number one. He was off last week, so I'm not gonna dock him for being off. But Russ is just, I mean, what can I say, man? The guy's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like he's to me the most deadliest quarterback with the ball in his hands in crucial moments. Like the guy gets it done in any running, throwing, you know what I mean, just playmaking ability. Like he's just clutch on all levels, and he showed that in his last game against the Niners. You know, if you give that guy the ball too many times, he's going to burn you. So he's at the top of the crown, top of the hill for me. If he continues playing at this pace, he's going to be my outright MVP. But Lamar Jackson's on his coattails, so I'm gonna keep my eye on Lamar. Lamar could catch him, but as of right now, it goes Russ, then Lamar, then Christian McCaffrey.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go in reverse order. I'm gonna go start number one. That's my man L. Jack. That man, dude, you just, I mean, Russ is gonna be my 1B, my number two. I'll just spoiler alert right there. But I mean, this dude Lamar for essentially his first whole season, right? I mean, some people still hold him in the regard of his rookie season. So this dude is already breaking records. I think he's already broken Vic's record.
Mm-hmm.
He has had 2 multiple game perfect quarterback games, which there's only been one other person that's done that, which is Ben Roethlisberger in the history of the league. So this dude, his first real full year, has had 2 perfect passing games, right? He's the 7th overall rusher in the league. Like they said that he has more rushing yards than Jalen Samuel, James Conner, and I think it was Snead combined.
I think I heard he's higher than Philip Lindsay, Alvin Kamara,
Yeah.
and there's somebody else more.
Well, he's
rushing
number
yards.
7 in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The number 7 rusher is a quarterback.
It's crazy.
So this dude is breaking records left and right. I mean, he went ahead. He beat Russ in Seattle. He beat the Pats, the undefeated Pats. Granted, they were in Baltimore, but this dude is a rookie quarterback and still took care of this top-notch defense and Bill Belichick and Brady. And then look at what he did last week to Deshaun. Deshaun was in high regard with a lot of people. This was a 2016 rematch, and this wasn't even a rematch. Like he went in there and they blew them out of the water.
They did. They bought out. They bought out.
Blew them out of the water. So and then Deshaun for a while was, I think, was he your number 3 MVP in the past?
Yeah. In past episodes, he was in my top 5.
This dude has beaten your number 1 pick and another one, your 2 of your top 5 picks, and has beaten Tom Brady in the Pats, and is the number 7 rusher in the whole league, and has had 2 perfect passing games, and this dude is still not your number 1. That's crazy.
I need to see a little bit more.
That's crazy. This dude, I mean, they're trying to figure this dude out, but I don't think they are.
What did Mark Ingram say? Big trust. What he say? What he say?
Oh man, he said,
Be outside the bank.
yeah, man. But there are teams that are scheming to try to go ahead and beat this dude, and they're trying to run all these different defenses. I think it was, I mean, granted it was the Bengals, but I think they tried 3 different defensive schemes against him, and none of them worked because they were doing slow rush, where they would have their linemen go ahead and not rush as aggressively, so they could try to contain him more. But bro was just stepping back and just dropping dimes. But they did that with Steve Young. They tried that a lot with Steve Young in the past, where they would go ahead and they would try to do that slow rush so he couldn't run around.
Right.
And you know how dangerous that dude was.
Yeah.
You give him additional time to go ahead and just drop something, it's over. So for me, I mean, all the accolades that this dude is doing, his first full season in the league, to me, I mean, this Ravens team would not be with only 2 losses if they were still under Flacco.
No.
This dude has turned around this organization in a year.
Yep.
Right? And he's done it with a smile on his face and a chip on his shoulder. Number 2 for me is Russ. This dude has taken this team and this receiving core or lack thereof and really made these dudes shine. Right? You have Hollister now. Hollister wasn't in anybody's conversation at tight end.
Sure wasn't.
For the last 2 weeks, that dude has balled out.
Mm-hmm.
That dude balled out against y'all.
Yep.
And you don't, who's Hollister? And then this dude goes, I think he was at like 39 or 42% owned in fantasy, and then shot up. After the Niner game, shot up. Even though he had a bye the next week. I think he's up in like the 80s or the 90s right now, fantasy owned.
That's crazy.
So I mean, Russ takes these dudes that should be wide receiver 2s, slot receivers, whatever, and just works magic with him. So for me, I mean, yeah, he's hands down number 2. He's right there with Lamar. It's just I got to give a whole lot to Lamar because of the organization and where they were last year and where he brought them up until now in such a short time span. Dude's amazing. Number 3, it's gonna have to be CMC. For me, this dude, he's the reason why Kyle Allen, up until last week, was looking like he could be the face of the franchise. Kyle Allen's kind of been exposed at this point, and it's all the smoke screen. I think I've said this in past podcasts, is that the smoke screen is done. The CMC smoke screen for Kyle Allen, he's kind of just been exposed at this point. But this dude is literally carrying this team on his back and helping them with their success. Number 4, this is where it gets starts to get a little murky, because 4 and 5 now we're starting to become so close. I mean, I had Deshaun as my solid number 4 last week, and after he got blown out by the Ravens and Lamar, and then they just played last night. They played Indy.
He looked good last night.
He looked good last night, but I was expecting a little more. I wasn't expecting such a close game, and I was expecting more of a chip on his shoulder because some of his passes and those one of those touchdowns was just blown coverage.
Wide open, yeah.
When they left Nuke just wide open in the end zone. Like, how do you not account for the best receiver in the building at that point? Right? I mean, he made Will Fuller look real nice.
Yeah, he had a big day.
So he could be in that conversation of 4 still. He's kind of slipped off. I think right now with 4 and 5, it's so murky between Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook, Mahomes, Watson, maybe Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers can easily get back in this conversation depending on how he plays the Niners on Sunday. If he goes ahead, because he's from Cali. So this is a big game for him.
He wanted to be a Niner. He wanted the Niners to take him.
And if he can go ahead and if he can win this matchup against you guys on Sunday night, he'll be solidified number 4 for me. But that still has you at Dalvin, because Dalvin is definitely someone not to overlook. Michael Thomas, definitely. I mean, he's living up to his social media handle, Can't Guard Mike. That dude is a beast.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is still doing his thing. You know, they just won in Mexico City. Mahomes isn't really anyone to scoff at, you know, and take out of the MVP race yet. They just have to make sure they go ahead. I think if Mahomes beats Brady at Gillette, he'll be right there between 4 and 5 for a lot of people.
Yeah, I can see that.
Thank you guys for tuning into this segment today of At the Office. Be sure to check out all our social medias, at Real At the Office, on Twitter and Instagram. Also, go ahead and check out our friends over at Red Pill Station on their Instagram and their YouTube. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Any comments on what you guys would like to go ahead and see on our next segments coming up will be greatly appreciated and loved. Make sure to go ahead and check out Red Pill Station's YouTube as well. Like, comment, subscribe over there, and make sure you go ahead and hit that bell notification so you know every time we post a new segment.